In a town, there was a family named Lynn, and the family was quite wealthy. Louis worked as an official in his early years, but was later dismissed and returned to his hometown because of a wrong case. When Louis was still an official, his wife took a lot of medicine, but did not have children. Not long after he returned to his hometown, Amhi gave birth to a daughter. At that time, Louis was 50 years old, and Amhi was 43 years old. Louis regarded his daughter as a treasure and named her Nikola. Because Nikola was an only daughter, Louis doted on her very much. However, Nikola, unlike most girls, was an extrovert and didn't like girly things except for the thrilling activities of horseback riding and archery. Louis asked a friend of his who studied martial arts to teach his daughter martial arts. His daughter learned fast and worked hard. By the age of 12 or 13, she could beat a few adults. Amhi thought it was bad that Nikola liked to read, so she was anxious. She said all day that Nikola would not be able to marry in the future, but Louis didn't think so. He said that their family was wealthy, and that even if Nikola didn't get married, they could always take care of her, and told Amhi not to worry. Nikola was so proud of her father's permission that she went out to play. Nikola liked to go out to play, and was very forthright. If she encountered terrible people who wanted to bully her, she could use a whip to deal with them. She was pretty famous in Luzhou. As long as they saw her, others would automatically stay away. One day, Nikola rode to the market in the east of the city, on the 1st and 15th days of every month. There would be vendors selling all kinds of rare things, such as agate and pearls. Suddenly, she saw an iron cage in front of a hunter. The iron cage was rusted and contained a small tiger. The little tiger looked sluggish, very thin, and looked sick. Nikola couldn't help sympathizing with it and asked the hunter where the tiger had come from. The hunter knew Nikola. He knew she was rich. So he said that he had caught the tiger on the mountain and asked her if she would buy it. Nikola asked him how much it was. The hunter said he wanted 20 silver dollars. Nikola couldn't help frowning. Although her family was wealthy, 20 silver dollars was costly for her. Louis usually gave her little pocket money, and she liked shopping, so she only had 5 silver dollars at that time. Nikola asked the hunter if it could be cheaper, and the hunter said no. Nikola hesitated before leaving. Although she sympathized with the tiger, if she went home and asked her father for the money, she would inevitably be reprimanded by her mother. Just as she turned to leave, the tiger in the cage croaked. Nikola looked back and saw that the little tiger had opened its eyes, and its eyes were full of hope. Nikola couldn't bear it, so she asked her companion to go back and ask her father for money. And if her father asked, tell him it was urgent, but couldn't tell him they needed money to buy a tiger. Her companion answered and went back. At home, Louis and Amhi were painting in the study. Her friend told Louis that Nikola had seen something at the market and wanted 20 silver dollars to buy it. When Amhi heard it, she scolded Nikola and said that she would not do good deeds. She asked this companion to bring her home quickly. Louis stroked his beard, laughed that it wasn't big money, and told his wife not to get mad. Louis asked her friend to go to the cashier to get the money. There was nothing Amhi could do to stop him. She could only vent her anger at Louis. Louis hurriedly coaxed her, saying that his daughter liked it very much and that he would be happy if he could buy it. Louis managed to coax Amhi, and Nikola took the tiger home. This little tiger was very thin. Nikola was afraid that it would overeat at once, so she asked the chef to cut the meat into minced meat and then slowly feed it to the little tiger. The little tiger gradually recovered, and it was brilliant. Both Nikola and Louis loved it, but Amhi hated it and always had to take a detour whenever she saw it. After half a year, this little tiger grew into a big tiger. As its size increased, its food intake also increased, and it had to eat at least 30 pounds of meat every day. Amhi was quite dissatisfied with this pet that only spent money and pushed Louis all day to spend it away. Coincidentally, Amhi was pregnant. Although Nikola was reluctant to part with the tiger, she knew that the mountains and forest were its home. She sent the tiger to the dense forest west of the city on a fine day. It was all done in secret because she feared that someone would come to trouble her after being injured by the tiger. When someone asked her where the tiger had gone, she said it died of illness. Before long, her mother gave birth to a boy. Having a son at that age, Louis was delighted. He named the boy Lindbauer, and he wasn't as nice to Nikola as he used to be. Nikola liked her brother very much because it meant that she didn't have to rush to find a husband to join their family. When Lindbauer was 5 years old, Louis found a fiancé for Nikola. Her fiancé was from Hushing. His family had been in business for generations and matched the Lin family. Nikola had never met her fiancé, only knowing that his name was Giwencheng. He was a year older than Nikola and had read a lot. Nikola knew that her parents' arrangement could not be defied, so instead of feeling dissatisfied, she was happy to be able to marry away. She felt that by marrying Giwencheng, she could avoid her mother's nagging and discipline. Soon came the day of marriage, and Louis prepared a dowry of 18 cages for Nikola. There were 36 people who sent her to marry, in addition to her relatives. There was also the most famous matchmaker in Luzhou. They had a lot of people, so it was easy to get people's attention. At that time, there was a group of bandits who often hid in the forest and specialized in robbery. This group of bandits had been eyeing Nikola since they left Luzhou and waiting for the right opportunity to act. On the 5th day, they entered a particularly large pine forest. The pine trees were tall and sturdy. They felt a chill in the woods because the canopy was too high to block the sun. When they came to the middle of the woods, the matchmaker who led the way got out of the car and said that she was too tired and asked everyone to rest. Nikola couldn't help, but was about to leave the car to take a breath when she heard a whistle. Then, out of the jungle came a dozen or so masked robbers. The leading robbers asked them to hand over the dowry quickly. Otherwise, they would all die. Nikola looked at the people thinking that although she knew some kung fu, she couldn't escape because she couldn't match them. They were frightened and hurriedly carried things over. The robber was very satisfied when he opened the box and saw the dowry. But the robber said everyone but the bride could go. They heard that the bride was beautiful, so he wanted her to be his wife. Nikola was angry and scared, but the people who sent her didn't care about her. Except for her friends, everyone else ran away. When the bandit walked to the wedding car and opened the door with a smile, a tiger roar suddenly sounded, and a cold wind blew in the forest. The bandit took a step back and told his accomplice that there were tigers there. Nikola was also nervous when she heard that. Tigers were ferocious beasts, although they were capable people who killed tigers before. They were very few. Nikola grabbed her skirt nervously, in addition to hearing messy footsteps and then screaming one after another. After a while, there was no sound. Nikola stepped out of the sedan chair. She lifted her hijab and saw that the bandits were already lying on the ground. They suffered injuries to their legs or bodies, but not fatal. At this time, a giant tiger jumped in front of Nikola, stretched out its head, and rubbed Nikola's shoulder affectionately. It was only then that Nikola recognized that it was the little tiger she had released 5 years ago, apparently to save her. Nikola patted its head. The tiger fell down and seemed to be going down the mountain with Nikola on its back. Nikola mounted it, and her friends, who were still scared, followed the tiger slowly out of the jungle. They were led by the tiger and arrived in Huzhou 2 hours later, saving a lot of time. The tiger did not enter the city, but stopped by the woods. Nikola stroked its head and then took her friend from the city to find the Ji family. Nikola didn't say anything about how she was rescued by the tiger. She just said that she knew martial arts, so she broke through the siege and escaped with the maids. As soon as the G family heard it, they quickly called the police. And soon, the police arrested all the robbers who were injured and lying in the jungle. Nikola's dowry was delivered to the G family, and she married Guwencheng, as scheduled. Initially, she thought that Guwencheng was a scholar, and he must be very dull. But she didn't expect that he also liked martial arts, and was very kind. It was precisely because he heard that there was a girl in Luzhou who had practiced martial arts since she was a child, and had a free and straightforward personality. Hence, he tried to find a way to ask a matchmaker to propose a marriage, which made their beautiful wedding possible. Nikola and Guwencheng had similar interests and got along very harmoniously. Later, they had 3 sons and 1 daughter. They were very loving and harmonious. Nikola is a kind, brave, and forthright girl. It is precisely because of her kind deeds that she was rewarded by this tiger. In fact, animals are also brilliant and emotional. In real life, humans will domesticate tigers, lions, and other beasts as pets. One good turn deserves another. What do you think of this story? Do you really think a tiger could save its master? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.